Welcome back, everyone. We're diving deep today, really deep, into humanity's purpose and the potential for salvation.
Oh, big questions today. Love it.
And we're using some really fascinating sources. We'll be looking at ancient Greek mythology,
Okay,
the Corpus Hermetica,
very cool.
and, believe it or not, the Quran. You might be surprised to see those all together.
Yeah, that's an interesting combination.
It is, but we're on a mission, right? To uncover some unexpected connections between these sources, see how they kind of speak to each other, and maybe, just maybe, offer you a fresh perspective on that age-old question. What is our place in the universe?
I think that when you really start to dig into ancient texts and you look beyond just the surface level, you find these hidden threads that connect all sorts of seemingly different ideas, and they can weave together a much richer tapestry of the human experience.
All right, let's start unraveling some of those threads. I think most of us know the story of Pandora's jar,
Yeah, classic.
but I have a feeling we're about to see it in a whole new light.
Definitely. I think most people, when they hear Pandora's jar, they think of evil, all these evils being unleashed on the world, right? Suffering. But what if instead of a box of evils, we reimagine Pandora's jar as a representation of everything we experience as humans? All of it.
The good, the bad, the whole shebang.
Exactly.
Okay, that's a pretty big shift in perspective. What makes you interpret it that way?
Well, even the name Pandora is interesting. It comes from the Greek words for all and gift, meaning all gift. So Pandora isn't this, like, person, but more like an embodiment of all the gifts of experience being given to humanity.
So Pandora's more of a concept, and these gifts she's giving, those are about the tangible sensory world, right? What we can see, touch, taste, all those earthly delights.
Yeah, exactly. But, and here's the thing, even the most pleasurable things, the good stuff, can have a downside if we're not careful, right? And this is where the whole idea of Eve or Epimethea opening
Yeah.
the jar comes into play. The source material calls this unthinking curiosity. And it's this curiosity that leads humanity to misuse those gifts, ultimately.
This is like a metaphor.
Exactly. It's a metaphor for how our desires, when we don't really understand them, can end up controlling us. It's so easy to get caught up in chasing pleasure or avoiding pain that we lose sight of the bigger picture.
That makes me think about that idea from the blog, the tree of life versus the tree of dualistic knowledge. Choosing to indulge in those earthly pleasures can actually pull us away from our true nature and our role as stewards of this planet.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing the choices we make every day. Are we living in tune with our true nature, or are we getting lost in the pursuit of temporary satisfaction?
So where does the Corpus Hermetica fit into all of this? How does it add to the conversation?
Well, the Corpus Hermetica introduces this really fascinating concept called the mixing bowl.
A mixing bowl. Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So in this text, God offers humanity a mixing bowl, and it's filled with mind. This mind is like the divine spark within us, our consciousness, our ability to reason.
So engaging with the mixing bowl, it's like this opportunity to tap into a higher level of understanding.
Yes, exactly. And those who recognize this gift and choose to really engage with this mind, they achieve perfection and immortality. They become a reflection of the image of God.
But just like with Pandora's jar, I'm guessing there are consequences for misusing this gift.
Oh yeah, for sure. Those who don't understand their true purpose, who become enslaved to their desires, those are the ones who really suffer.
Stuck in the bowl.
Yeah, they get trapped in this cycle of wanting more and never being satisfied. They're unable to escape the mixing bowl that they've created for themselves.
It's almost like we've all been given these amazing ingredients, both in the physical world and within our own minds, and it's up to us what kind of dish we create with them, what we choose to make of it all.
It's a great analogy. We're all in this cosmic kitchen, so to speak.
The mixing bowl, a challenge and an opportunity.
Absolutely. Will we use our ingredients to make something extraordinary, or will we get lost in a jumble of mismatched flavors?
Okay, so we've got Pandora's jar representing all of human experience, the good, the bad, all of it.
Right.
And then we've got the mixing bowl representing this challenge to really use our minds and recognize our creator. So where does the Quran fit into all of this? What role does it play?
That's what we'll dive into next. The Quran's like this incredible guidebook. It helps us navigate all the complexities of that mixing bowl, helping us figure out what's truly important, what I like to call the signal, and then all the distractions of life, the noise, so to speak.
So we've got this recipe book, this Quran, this incredible guide to navigate the mixing bowl of life. But how do we even begin? Where do we start?
Well, the Quran places a huge emphasis on free will.
Right.
taking responsibility for ourselves,
Right.
and constantly seeking knowledge.
Okay.
And I think it's in those ideas that you'll really find guidance on your journey.
You've highlighted some verses here, and this one from Surah Al-Kahf really stood out to me. It says, "And say, the truth is from your Lord, so whoever wills, let him believe, and whoever wills, let him disbelieve." What does that mean to you?
It's a powerful statement, right? It's a reminder that we all have a choice. We can choose to believe or not believe, to engage with the mind or to ignore it. But there are always consequences to every choice that we make.
And those consequences, that makes me think of the verse you pointed out from Surah Ash-Shams.
Yeah.
It says, "And by the soul and he who proportioned it, and inspired it with discernment of its wickedness and its righteousness, he has succeeded who purifies it, and he has failed who instills it with corruption."
That one's all about purifying our souls, right?
I mean,
Choosing thoughts, words, and actions that are in line with our true nature.
our purpose.
Yeah, think of it as this constant process of refining ourselves,
Oh, I like that.
sorting through the ingredients in that mixing bowl of our lives,
Yeah.
and choosing the best ones.
So I'm trying to wrap my head around this idea of purifying the soul. What does that even look like practically? Are there any examples in the Quran that might help me understand this a bit better?
I think a big part of it is
Okay.
remembering our Creator, why we're here, remembering the truth. And that brings us to this really fascinating connection. The Quran talks a lot about reciting in the name of your Lord.
Right. Surah Al-Alaq. Recite in the name of your Lord who created man from a clinging substance. Recite, and your Lord is the most generous, who taught by the pen-taught man that which he knew not. What connection do you see there?
Well, reciting can be a form of remembering, right? When you're reciting, you're acknowledging the source of all knowledge and wisdom, constantly reaffirming your connection to the divine, aligning yourself with the truth.
There's also that story in the Quran about Adam being taught the names of all things. That one has always fascinated me.
Surah Al-Baqarah, yeah. And he taught Adam the names, all of them. Then he showed them to the angels and said, "Inform me of the names of these, if you are truthful." It really highlights the incredible potential that we have as humans.
Knowledge and understanding.
Exactly. It's about using our minds, our reason, our intuition to understand the world around us, our place within it. See, we keep coming back to these ideas of remembrance, knowledge, aligning ourselves with the divine will.
It's definitely a recurring theme.
It is.
So is that alignment ultimately what leads to salvation? Making those conscious choices to purify ourselves and live according to the truth?
I think it plays a big part, for sure. It's about those actions, those choices that strengthen our connection to our Creator and allow us to reach our full potential. But it's a journey, and it looks different for everyone.
And that makes me think about how the Quran talks about God's creative power. Surah Al-Baqarah, the originator of the heavens and the earth. When he decrees a matter, he only says to it, "Be," and it is.
That's beautiful. And, we find echoes of that same idea in the Corpus Hermetica, too.
Oh, really?
It's fascinating, right? How these different texts, these different cultures, different times can offer such similar insights into the human experience.
So in the Corpus Hermetica, where do you see that? Where's that idea reflected?
The mixing bowl passage, actually.
Huh.
It describes God as the sole creator who shaped all things according to his will. And it emphasizes how God creates through reasoned speech.
So we see this convergence of ideas, right? This concept of a divine creator and the power of our choices to shape our destinies.
Exactly. It all comes back to that image of the mixing bowl.
Right.
All these teachings are giving us different perspectives on how to approach this cosmic recipe we've been given.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a big one now.
All right, hit me.
If the earth is our mixing bowl, what ingredients are we choosing to work with? How are those choices impacting our individual paths toward salvation? What do you say to somebody who is really wrestling with that question?
That's the question, isn't it? That's the one we all have to wrestle with. We aren't just passively living our lives. We're creating them, moment by moment, with each choice we make.
Man, that's powerful. That really makes me want to take a step back and look at what ingredients I'm working with. Maybe revisit some of these texts, with fresh eyes.
It's a journey of self-discovery. And it's never ending. I hope this deep dive has given you some new perspectives, some new tools to help you navigate your own path.
Me too. Let's take a moment to gather our thoughts, and then we'll come back and wrap up this deep dive, explore some key takeaways from these incredible sources. Wow, we've covered a lot of ground. This deep dive into humanity's purpose and the potential for salvation has taken us through some amazing ideas. Pandora's jar.
Mixing bowl.
The Quran.
It's incredible how these seemingly different ideas, from different times and cultures can offer us so much insight into what it means to be human.
Absolutely. We started with Pandora's jar and this idea that it's not just about evil and suffering, right?
Right. It's about the whole human experience,
The good.
the bad.
All of it.
It's like you can't have one without the other. Life is full of contrast.
And then we moved on to the mixing bowl from the Corpus Hermetica, which really resonated with me. It's this powerful image that we've all been given these ingredients, these talents, our relationships, even our challenges.
Right. And we have the power to decide what we do with them, what we create with them.
And the Quran reminds us that those choices we make, they really matter. This idea of free will, taking responsibility for our actions, constantly trying to improve ourselves, that really stood out to me.
Yeah. Purifying our souls. It's like we're constantly refining ourselves, choosing those thoughts and actions that are in line with our true purpose.
But that begs the question, how do we even know what our purpose is?
Yeah.
Where do we find that guidance?
The Quran offers some answers there. It emphasizes seeking knowledge, remembering our Creator. Remember that verse from Surah Al-Alaq. Recite in the name of your Lord, who created Kana, created man from a clinging substance. Recite, and your Lord is the most generous, who taught by the pen taught man that which he knew not.
I always find it so powerful to acknowledge where knowledge comes from and to know that we can keep seeking it throughout our lives.
Absolutely. And remember the story of Adam being taught the names of all things. Surah Al-Baqarah.
Yeah.
It highlights the potential that lies within each and every one of us to learn, to grow, to become vessels of divine wisdom.
It's a reminder that we're not just passive bystanders in our own lives, right? We have this incredible capacity to understand the world around us and to make choices that shape our own destinies.
And that brings us right back to that question we were pondering before. If the earth is our mixing bowl, what ingredients are you focusing on? How are those choices shaping your individual journey, your path towards salvation?
What a thought-provoking question. We've been given so many incredible tools, these teachings that have resonated with people for centuries. What are we going to do with them? How can we use them to create meaning in our lives?
Yeah, I think that's something we all need to reflect on. I hope this deep dive, exploring Pandora's jar, the mixing bowl, and the Quran, has given you some food for thought.
Me too.
Keep exploring these ideas. Read the Corpus Hermetica, delve into the Quran, revisit those ancient myths, and most importantly, ask yourself, what kind of world are you creating with the ingredients you've been given?
We've just scratched the surface today, but that's what makes it so exciting, right? There's always more to learn, more to discover. The journey never truly ends.
Keep asking questions, keep seeking knowledge, and keep diving deep. Until next time.